As I said at the top of the show, we're focusing on the recent school shootings in Florida and the debate it has sparked nationally and here in North Carolina about how best to protect our children. Joining us first, we have Lisa Godwin. Lisa is the North Carolina Teacher of the Year and has been on the show with us before, so thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
And next to her is Dr. Jim Deni. Dr. Deni is a school psychologist by training and is a trainer now, also a professor at Appalachian State University. So thank you both for being here.
You.
Now, Lisa, I want to start with you. Almost immediately after the shooting in Florida, the idea of arming teachers came up. It first came up in Florida, then the president, and then here in North Carolina. What was your reaction when you first heard that idea?
Well, I'm all for arming teachers, but not with guns. I'm for arming teachers with resources, with training, with the mental health and social needs supports that we need in our classrooms and in our schools. And that needs to be taking place full-time, not sharing social workers and counselors and psychologists from school to school, but having somebody on site full-time. The statistics show that 1 to 250 is the supported ratio for guidance counselors and social workers, but in North Carolina it was 1 to 355. And with psychologists, the ratio should be 1 to 500. And in North Carolina last year it was 1 to 1,829.
She's making your case for you, Jim.
So this is the thing, you know, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Our students and our families need support. We need to be proactive instead of reactive.
Right. Now, but let me, you are, as a teacher of the year, but you are a classroom teacher. I mean, you're taking the year off traveling. You're a kindergarten teacher.
I am.
And you talk to other teachers. I mean, what have they, I'm sure this is a topic of conversation. It has to be. What are they saying about just the whole idea of giving them a gun and asking them to do this, to play this role in school?
There's a lot of mixed emotions, Keith. I think that we all view our classrooms as sanctuaries and places where we support peace and love and tolerance. And so I feel like we are under this thought process that if we allow guns to come into our classroom, then we're condoning the outside world and the violence that's taking place outside, and we're allowing it to infiltrate our schools. We need to stand up and say, no, we're not going to allow that inside our building. We're going to continue to let this be a place of learning, not a fortress. Now, I do think that SROs on the perimeters are great ideas for all schools, not just high schools and middle schools, but elementary schools as well.
Yeah, and we're going to, next week on the show, we're going to talk about a lot of the different policies. I want to shift over to you, Dr. Deni. Mental illness, mental health always seems to come up when we talk about mass shootings. There's a part of me that gets a little, frankly, uncomfortable because there are so many Americans, so many humans that suffer from mental illness that aren't mass shooters. But as a psychologist and a mental health provider, I mean, are there things that we need to be looking at with students? I mean, many of these school shootings are in fact carried out by current students, former students. So what should we be doing?
Well, you know, I think as Lisa said, we need to put more resources in schools. Statistically, one in five, you know, students in North Carolina annually have a need for either mental health, behavioral, or substance abuse services. And in order to do that, you know, we're going to have a comprehensive model, you know, which includes, you know, full staffing of instructional staff, which would include psychologists, you know, nurses, social workers, and counselors, and have more of a comprehensive approach. I think the focus is more on guns and not access to resources to help support students who have mental health and behavioral and substance abuse.
So in your view, it's not either or, it's like yes and. Let's look and from a mental illness perspective now, and Lisa gave some good stats, and I don't remember the first one she mentioned, but I know I saw from you were the past president of the North Carolina School Psychologists Association. They released some information. We have 740 school psychologists serving 1.6 million children. That's one for every 2,162 students. There are 12 districts that have no one full-time on staff. This is a problem.
Correct, and we As of last year, we had about 65, school psych vacancies, and our ratio is, right now about, 1 to 2,100 students. So 3 times, what the recommended national ratio is for school psychologists, which means that, when we're looking at teachers, counselors, all support staff, basically we're understaffed in caseloads. If you have a caseload of 1 to 2,100, it's literally impossible, to provide comprehensive services to children.
Well, let me ask you, you're a kindergarten teacher, how early do we need to be looking at, evaluating, supporting students?
Well, all the research, whether you talk about academics, behavioral, mental health services, focuses on early intervention and prevention. We need to front load all of our resources early. I mean, whether you're looking at reading or whether you're looking at, early intervention in mental health or behavioral health or substance abuse, it's really important that you focus on early intervention as early as
Kristen, I guess if we got about a minute left, I'm going to give it to you. Yeah. I guess you would say amen as a kindergarten teacher?
I do say amen. And I think that this school shooting is just shining a light on what is prevalent in our schools every day. Right. We have mental health issues, behavioral issues that take place in our classrooms on a daily basis. And so the support systems need to be there full time before it reaches the point where a school shooting takes place.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's what we want to do. And so we're going to continue to explore this. We have a couple of students that are going to join us in the next part, but thank you both for your insights and expertise. We appreciate it. Now, when we come back, we are going to be joined by 2 high school students who are speaking up and organizing other students in their community. But before we go to break, see if you can answer this question. The shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida was the 9th deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. What is the deadliest on record?